What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cork to Glory. This is episode number 26. Now we start today's stuff, we look at our fixtures for November. Only 4 games coming this month, 2 home, then 2 away. First the Terriers, massive game, that one with Huddersfield horrendously out of form to start the campaign off. Then Bournemouth, and then we've got Middlesbrough and Reading to wrap off a surprisingly quiet month for November. When I saw those fixtures there, I was like, really? 4 games? That's it? There's no midweek fixtures, it's just 4 games. Okay, alright, fair enough, I mean, I'll take it, right? Because it means you got a lot more rest time. Because obviously, when you're in Championship and in League 1 and League 2, you know, you're playing 46 game seasons. You've normally got like 1, 2, you know, sometimes, depending on how far you are into the season, and if you've been on cup runs as well, like 3 midweek games, but not a single midweek game. And again, only 4? Well, let's just say I'm pretty pleased to see that. We'll get a lot more rest time. But still following out, we had a scouting update and also an academy update as well. You know, I'm quite big on a couple of players in this academy here. I think Gillies, the Scotsman, who we've retrained from defensive mid to attacking mid, a la J Potts in the QPR save. He looks incredibly good. Coffey looks really decent, but sadly the starting overall is poor. Same for Christopher Kane, the attacking mid as well. What I'm noticing is that we're getting a lot of attacking midfielders for our academy, and that's kind of frustrating as I retrain this Norwegian centre mid to right wing here. That's really frustrating because, like, you know, it's all good having like really quality players coming through the youth system, but when they're all in the same position, and especially a position like the attacking midfield role, because like for example, you know, if you had like, you know, 3 great centre halves coming through, that's fine. You can play a 5 at the back system. You know, if you've got like again, like, you know, maybe 3 strikers coming through. You could have 2 strikers and then maybe 1 on the wing, for example. But when you've got, you know, an abundance of attacking midfielders coming through, really, you're probably only going to play with 1. So, yeah, that's kind of tough that right now we're getting some great academy prospects. But let's be honest here, Eamon Cunningham is probably one of our star players, if not our star player in this team. So, yeah, we're not going to drop him. And that makes things, you know, a little bit frustrating. We're getting good players, but it's like they're all coming in the same position. Still, for the first game in today's episode, first 6 today, it was indeed Huddersfield Town. You saw the league table earlier coming into the game. Look, they need wins, man. If they're going to get themselves away from the drop zone, if they're going to pick up some points, then they need wins. I mean, obviously. So taking them on here at Turner's Cross here, massive game. And I mentioned it in the very last episode. These are the games where if we don't win, it's a massive slip up. We're at home. We're way better in Ireland than we are in England. We're against a team right now that are probably looking like the worst in the division. This has to be a banker. This has to be 3 points. Leo headed a free kick off the line in the first half. Then Cunningham hit the woodwork in the second half. It was Bell at the double. So good they named him twice as Samuel makes it 2-0. And as of course you would have noticed here, this season I've given him a number 9 since Davis was released at the end of last season, and he's certainly showing that he has the ability to be the number 9, not just last season and this season, but for the foreseeable future. Samuel Bell with the brace in a massive, absolutely massive 3 points there as we try and pull away from the drop zone. So following the big 2-0 victory, I had a very credible draw on the south coast against Bournemouth, a goalless draw there away to Vitali. That's a really good point there against one of the stronger teams in the division. But it is worth pointing out, as we saw this graphic right before our third of 6 games in today's episode, away in Medeski against the Royals here. Reading away from home as we take on Big Andy Rinamotta and his Royals as well. We still have the worst record away from home in the division. Only 1 win in our first 9 games away from home. So taking on the Royals, despite a good point there, I just don't feel confident in England. I really don't know what it is about playing away from Ireland. But as soon as we get the ferry over to England, I'm just like, yeah, we're not going to win today. We're not going to win today. We've had 1 win in 10 away games this season. And of course it was Preston at Deepdale who was struggling mightily before we took them on. So every time we're away from home, I don't feel confident. What's frustrating as well is that we've won 1, but we easily could have won 3. We've had 2 goal leads in 2 successive away games this season against Stoke and Watford as well, and surrendered wins in both of those games. And it is kind of annoying because against Middlesbrough here, away at the Riverside Stadium for our 4th game, we don't even play that badly away, and we do get goals as well. Just 4 minutes in, we took the lead here in the North East. Barry Sharkey rolling it through to Eamon Cunningham, who makes it 1-0 as we take the lead. But I just make so many glaring errors away from Ireland, and I can't really put my finger on why it is. I think it is just a mental thing. Adrenaline and nerves as well. Because 10 minutes in, we're leading by a goal, and it's like, I just hit the self-destruct button here. Borough going through one-on-one, and with Leo, okay, look, I'll be honest here, I'm trying to block this shot. I'm not trying to take the man down from behind. It's clearly meant to be a block shot. But because the attacker dinks it over Leo, he ends up falling down on the follow-through. So it's unlucky, but it's still a bad error. I should have taken my chances with Bazunu. I didn't. Penalty for the Borough. We're down to 10 men. Leo Yates sent off, but... oh, get in. Gavin Bazunu, the former Rochdale goalkeeper, with the save as the also former City and Shamrock Rovers shot stopper. Keeps it at 1-0 as we're still in front here. But 25 minutes in, well listen, okay, I got no complaints about the first penalty. It was unintentional, but I can see why it was given. But this one, I've got to be honest, ref, seriously, that's soft. That's really, really soft. Doesn't matter though, because Bazunu saves his second of the game. Gavin, the penalty killer. Bazunu, 2 penalties he faces, twice from Chuba Akpom. He goes the same way both times and makes the stop both times as well. Gavin Bazunu, the penalty killer, faces 2 penalties, saves them both. And it's still, somehow, Middlesbrough 0, Cork City 1 in the first half. I mean, after we got the first goal, like, it was all Middlesbrough. Once Leo Yates got sent off and we were down to 10 men, it was just backs to the wall for the rest of the game. And I knew at some point, despite Bazunu making some great saves from the spot and from open play as well, they'd find a goal to get back on level terms. They did right before the break, and 69 minutes in, well, unfortunately, we were trying to hold on to a big point on the road with a man light, but Middlesbrough would find their winning goal and get the 3 points. Final score 2-1. Such a frustrating game as well. And again, it's the 3rd time this season we've been leading on the road in England, and we've ended up not getting the 3 points. Yeah, that is really, really frustrating. So Yates sent off, dismissed and suspended for next game as well. The Borough get the win. Deserved it though, no doubt about it. Far better team. We were lucky really to be tied for such a long period of time. But anyway, 16th place in the table. We're 3 games away from the halfway point. We're still a few points off the drop, so whilst our form has been incredibly inconsistent, whilst we've only won 1 game in 11 away in England, it's still not been that bad of a season thus far. But after no wins in our last 3 games here, as we take a look at the fixtures coming in December, much more games, or many more games I should say, coming in December. Yeah, we had 4 games in November. We got a lot more to play in December. December is always the busiest or the 2nd busiest month worth of football, depending on how you're getting on in Cup, and if you're in Europe as well. Otherwise it'll be April. But yeah, lots of games coming in December as we come towards the Christmas period. We also had a scouting update and an academy update as well, where I did change the position of the Norwegian central midfielder to winger as well. Kind of gutted as well. You might notice that Ken Knudsen, who he picked up in the first month of scouting, his potential has decreased now to 73 to 81. He's got a great starting overall at 63, and he's only 15 as well. But yeah, now the potential's dropped quite significantly. That's a bit of a shame. And it was change Bakke here to a winger. He's alright, but I don't expect him to grow as many ratings as he needs to have much of an impact in this team. But some good news after the scouting and academy update as well. Change that thumbnail, young man. Change that thumbnail. Yep, Cork City are now a 3-star team. We've grown a whole star in half a season. That is absolutely fantastic, man. And again, it's because we've got such a young team and we're growing all the time. So, yep, we're now a 3-star team. So, good news there on the back of no wins in our last 3 games. And for our 5th or 6th games in today's episode here, Barnsley, who came up with us in League One, won League One last year away at Oakwell. Taking them on here. Last year, this fixture finished as a goalless draw. And I'll say this as well, whilst I know we have been underperforming lately, that's now no wins in our last 4 games. And also, I think, what, 1 goal in our last 4 games as well. We're so unlucky. Like, we hit the woodwork so many times. It's ludicrous, man. Once again, Cunningham hits the woodwork there in a goalless draw at Oakwell. So not a terrible result there, but either way, 0-0 the final score. And our quest for our 2nd away win goes on this season. But yeah, the amount of times we hit the frame with a goal is crazy, man. We are so bloody unlucky. But for our final games this episode, this team below us in the table right now, Swansea, a battle of the non-English teams here as the Welsh lads will come and take us on. We were leading through Samuel Bell, our top scorer. He makes it 1-0. Holding on to a big 3 points and our first win in a while with 12.5 minutes to go. He's left them in real life, but in the game he's still at the Liberty Stadium. Joel Asoro gives the Swans a leveller, and now the fans are beginning to vent their frustration a little bit as well. Another game without a win, none in our last 5. We're down to 17th place and we're only 3 points above the drop zone right now as well. No one said this was going to be easy, but as you approach the halfway point, we're still above the drop zone, but only by 3 points. Got to get our form sorted before the end of the calendar year, otherwise we'll start the new year in the bottom 3. But otherwise, this is the Court to Glory, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode where we close out December and begin the January transfer window as well. Very soon.